right, we're back. It's the Just Do It Sports Show with Doc and the Juice Man. Thank everybody for tuning in, checking us out. That's every Friday night, 8 p.m. Anchor FM, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Also on Spotify. Smash that subscribe button, like, share. Appreciate all the love and support. We back in this thing. We got a huge Final Four show to discuss. Coach K on his way out the door. Going to be taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels for the first time ever. Those two teams will meet in the NCAA tournament. And on the other end of the bracket, I believe that is going to be the first game of Saturday night's doubleheader. We have the Villanova Wildcats, Jay Wright and company taking on Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks. And every time I think about that, it just makes me more and more upset that Kentucky fell in the first round of St. Peter's. Juice Man, what's going on? What's going down with you, man?
I'm doing well, man. This is exciting stuff, man. Can't wait till Saturday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You already know. And the slap heard around the world. I guess it wouldn't be business or whatever, or casting or broadcasting or television or however you do your social media these days, or any type of media, without talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock, the incident that happened at the Oscars. Me personally, I think the whole thing was staged. Those are actors, and they were at the acting award ceremony, and they can cry and all that good stuff on demand. So I'm not going to too much read into it, but thought that would be a good little twist, just to slap heard around the world. Well, let's jump right into this action, man.
All right.
Let's jump right into this action, man. We got Villanova versus Kansas. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one to pick. What you thinking over there?
Man, well, for perspective, both these teams have, as a program, they've been to the big dance. They know what it takes to win. For Kansas, they have 3 national championships. 15 Final Four appearances. Coach Bill Self, he's led them to four Final Four appearances in his 19 years as their head coach. As for Villanova, they've been consistently good. 2 titles in the last 6 years. And I always remember that, even though I was young at the time, when they beat the superpower in Georgetown and Patrick Ewing in '85, like it was such a shock to the whole college basketball world, because no one ever thought that Georgetown would lose. Jay Wright has become one of the best coaches in all college basketball. I mean, he's a 2-time Naismith Coach of the Year, and he's also Big East Coach of the Year 6 times. So the man knows what he's doing. And as far as the game goes, it's really going to be interesting to see how Villanova is going to deal with the injury to Justin Moore. I mean, it's very unfortunate. I really feel bad for him. I mean, he was playing so well. I mean, he's ranked second in scoring on his own team. To me, he was their 3-and-D guy. 40% on shooting and 36% shooting threes. So the question is, who's going to replace that production? Is it going to be Caleb Daniels? I mean, we don't know. They still have Colin Gillespie, who's, he's very savvy in what he does. Very smart. He's not athletic, but he can get hot from the perimeter. This kid, Jermaine Samuels, man, this dude is the type of player that you run into the neighborhood that you can't figure out how to guard. I mean, he's very unorthodox, but he has good fundamentals. I mean, he plays the right way every time. And then for Kansas, I mean, they have the horses to get it done too. And they showed that against Miami. I was kind of shocked. I thought Miami would be able to run away with it, but the kid Ochai Agbaji, I mean, he always lets the game come to him. He never forces anything. He's always even keel. Like, he never looks like he's in panic mode. And this kid Remy Martin, who comes off the bench, who's a transfer, he's like an energizer bunny. He's not scared.
True.
Um, so if there was a weakness in Kansas, I would say it would be McCormick because he's not really a scorer. He's just a big body.
Mm.
But again, with the injury to Justin Moore, I think that's going to be the difference in the game, and I think Kansas is going to find a way to win this game, and I think it's going to be close. I'm predicting the score to be 73-69, and Villanova will go. No, sorry, Kansas will go to the championship.
So looking at this game, just from the outside perspective, Kansas is traditionally one of those teams. They are blue blood. They're traditionally one of those teams that if they get hot, they usually fare well. Mario Chalmers hit a big shot of Derrick Rose and company in Memphis 2008. On paper, didn't really seem as though Kansas deserved to be on the court with Memphis, but there they were. They, like I said, they just got hot at the right time. That's what the tournament is all about, in
Mhm.
my opinion. You just get hot at the right time, folks. You win 4 or 5 ball games, and there you go. Miami and St. Peter's, they totally disappointed me, and they're in holding up their end of the deal in the regional finals. Both of those games were like duds. They were like blowouts. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, neither one of them had much to show when they came, and it just makes you wonder what was the difference with what North Carolina was able to do that a Kentucky or a Murray
Mhm.
State or a Purdue, excuse me, I almost said Iowa, or Purdue was not able to do as far as taking control of the game. We do know the NCAA is guard oriented.
Mhm.
Jay Wright is going to have those guys ready to play. He is a tough defensive minded coach. Like you said, Colin Gillespie is a crafty guard. Um, he struggles against the more athletic defenders. I think Houston did a superb job on. I think he only had 2 points, four, and two of those were free throws late in the game. He
Mhm.
struggles against those, speed. Houston, I think, was one of the better defensive teams in the league. Kansas is kind of middle of the pack. I don't think people discuss their defense. Justin Moore,
Mhm.
that loss is going to be huge. 3-and-D guy. He was starting to step it up and play some great basketball for Jay Wright of Villanova. Jay Wright is not a coach that will let pride get in the way. A lot of these coaches out there, if we do what we do, it will win, and they end up losing. John
Right.
Calipari. Um, I don't think he's one of those guys that's selfish and so far. What's the word I'm looking for? Conceited and so narcissistic that they don't believe in switching and
Mhm.
adjusting on the fly.
Mhm.
With that being said, Kansas McCormick, like you said, he's more like a Clint Capella type.
Mhm.
He's kind of a stiff. A couple of their players coming off knee injury. Some of their shot blockers to that extent. I'm looking for a low scoring defensive game. I don't think Villanova quite has enough to
Mhm.
beat Kansas just from what I've seen, but Kansas isn't. They just haven't. Kansas doesn't look like world beaters themselves either. So with that being said, I'm going to take Villanova in this ball game.
Mhm.
They play that 3 guard rotation. They are undersized, but they will get after it defensively. I believe
Mhm.
they can do just enough, and maybe the emotion of losing Justin Moore um,
Mhm.
will give them that extra little up. I can see a close game. Like I said, I'm going defensive minded. Something's about that Villanova defense. I'm going to go
Mhm.
57-52.
Okay.
Villanova. I think they get that done. I think they get that done, and I think Villanova will move on to the Monday night national championship game. I
We
think they
shall
get it
see.
done.
Okay.
I think they get it done. I think they get it done. And that segues into our next ball game. Never seen it before. Never seen it before. Duke versus North Carolina. I think this is the best basketball rivalry in the nation. I wouldn't say all sports. I mean, you got Miami, Florida State. You got Nebraska, Oklahoma is huge. Oklahoma, Texas is huge. I'm not going to say in all sports. Alabama, LSU is huge when both of those teams are in the game. Alabama, Auburn. I'm not going to say it's the best rivalry in all of college sports. Like I said, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, Texas A&M. Some big rivalries, not in all sports, but in basketball,
Mhm.
especially on the collegiate level. You tend to think maybe outside of Tennessee and UConn on the women's side when Gino and Pat Summer were going in it those years. Maybe
Mhm.
outside of that, this is it. And then for these two teams to meet for the first time in the NCAA tournament, what a way to ride off into the sunset if it's meant to happen for Coach K. What
Mhm.
do you think about it?
It's yeah, man. It doesn't get any better than this. I agree. This is by far the best rivalry in college basketball. Both teams have a rich history. Combined between the two teams, 34 Final Four appearances and
Mm,
11 national titles. You got Coach K, who's um, trying to end his storied coaching career on top, and then on the other side, you have a first year head coach in Hubert Davis, who's a former player,
mm,
um, and who has earned the respect of his players. Done has done a great job. Carolina started out rough, but he was able to coach his players up and just on fire. I mean, um, these two teams met back on March 5th, just
mm.
before the tournament started. It was very
Correct.
competitive from start to finish. Four out of the five Carolina players, they all scored in double figures,
Mm,
and they made the necessary stops on the defensive end
mm,
late in the contest. Uh,
mm,
the kid Armando Baycott,
mm,
he battled down low with Mark Williams, and I mean he showed up. He had 23 points, 10 of 11 shooting, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. Mark Williams, he showed up too, but Baycott, he just wasn't scared. Um, and the guards for Carolina, R.J. Davis and Caleb Love, I mean, they were able to make plays. They were able with dribble penetration with like no resistance. I mean, the Duke guards had trouble just keeping them in front of them, and they were able to make the plays that were needed to be made. Um, as for Duke, I mean, we all know how great Banchero is, but and he seems to have all the tools for the next level. But I think there are times where in the game there was a mismatch, and he really didn't take
mm.
advantage of it. And then
Right.
like if he would go to the lane, the defense would collapse on him, forcing the other guys like Roach and Wendell Moore, AJ Griffin. Those guys have to hit shots. If they're not hitting shots, I mean, Banchero can score all the points, but um, they also had a issue with turnovers. Banchero had
Mm,
four turnovers by himself.
mm,
So I think that was one of the differences in that particular matchup. So for this game coming up Saturday, I think Carolina I think they're a better defensive team, and I think they shoot better from the perimeter. I mean, Manic shoots almost 40% from 3-point land. Like you just can't leave him open, or he's gonna
mm.
knock it down. Um, so I believe the guards versus Duke's guards. I think the Carolina guards are better, and so I think that's going to be the difference in the matchup. I have the Tar Heels winning in OT. It's going to be 82-79.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Good observation. Excellent observation. You heard it, man. That is a good observation. That is a professional type observation of the game. The man gave his breakdown on what he believes will happen. Yeah, like I said earlier, this man Duke versus North Carolina. What could you ask for? Both teams put the smack down on each other. Duke won the first contest, Chapel Hill. North Carolina returns the favor
Mhm.
in Durham. With that being said, man, you can throw everything out the window. You can really throw everything out the window. I mean, it's just like let's just old rivals. Hubert Davis, he knows Coach K. Coach K knows Hubert Davis.
Mhm.
Hubert is playing a different brand of basketball than his predecessor. Duke has evolved with the times, playing a more European style of ball. Banchero and Roach, those kids are poised. They're
Mhm.
poised and they're like the swagger. Duke, thinking back to the teams I saw earlier, just growing up and stuff like that, they were tough defensively. I think we get so caught up in the Christian Leitners and the Bobby
Mhm.
Hurley, the Grant Hills and the McGettys and Elton Brands and Trajan Langdon and just the plethora of talent that Duke has had come through that the defense that they play takes a back seat. That second half, well, going into the halftime, it looks like Arkansas had no answer whatsoever. Couldn't create any easy shots. Mark Williams is a solid defender. He's one of the better defenders in the nation. Closed that lane off and made
Mhm.
it tough on the
Mhm.
Arkansas Razorbacks. And we're able when Banchero hit that three, it was pretty much
It was a
downhill from
wrap. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much downhill from there. You can see the energy pretty much left Arkansas. They made a couple plays here and there to kind of keep it interesting, but that game was pretty much over with. I'm Roach and like you said, Williams and just the how they're able to come together at the right time. And I don't think they're necessarily feeling the pressure, but you can tell that they want to do it for Coach K, and there's a little extra bite. He's there now. He's in the Final Four, so it's kind of
Mhm.
like Super Bowl or the college playoffs. Once you get to the college championships, the divisional round in the NFL, it's kind of like, hey, let's just go out there and let's just see what happens.
Mhm.
So they're not intimidated. I don't think the stage will be too big. Banchero is he's a strong one-on-one player. I would like to see him get more involved off the ball, moving without the ball in his hands.
Mhm.
Sometimes it does get stagnant. I mean, we know they're going to pass the ball a couple times, maybe run a few sets. At the end of the day, basketball is basketball. Get
Mhm.
your get your best player the ball and let him go to work. And not so much important is the shot creating; it's the shot making. Banchero is a shot maker. Roach is a shot maker.
Mhm.
Looking over to North Carolina, the kid Love, he's been on fire lately. He's been dropping.
Yes, he
Man, who's
has.
he from? And they have a lot. Their shooting has picked up. Their
Mhm.
shooting has picked up, and you just said his name. I forgot. The he's second in the NC. You just said his name. The post player. What? I'm tripping. I'm tripping. But what's his name? Baycott. Baycott.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's second. Well, no, I think he tied the big O Oscar Sheway from Kentucky. Most double doubles in the NCAA this year. I think at
Mhm.
one point he had 14 rebounds in the first half, and St. Peter's had like 12 as a team. So he's a monster on the ground. He's not going to be
Yeah.
intimidated by Mark Williams. So
Mhm.
I think that's
No.
where that game could be won. If North Carolina gets in foul trouble in the post and Mark Williams is able to control the paint, and Love is not hitting from the outside, and a couple of the shooters not hitting from the outside, I can see Duke pulling away. That'll be key. Watch the fouls. Watch the fouls. Watch the fouls down low. Watch the battle between Bacot and Mark Williams to see what's
Yeah.
going on. If I picks up two or three quick fouls, I can see Duke pulling away. I'm seeing a blowout for some reason. I'm just seeing a blowout in this particular game. Neither game was close this year.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the theatrics and Coach K finally facing North Carolina in the tournament, we might get a close game. With that being said, I'm gonna go Duke 86, and I'm gonna go North Carolina 72. I think a couple late free throws make the game look, you know, really worse than it was. I think it'll be close to about 5 6 minutes left in the second half, and I think eventually Duke will assert itself as just a team. They're just poised. That you're not going to rattle them.
Mhm.
K is a good leader. He's a good leader, and we wish him well. I have Duke moving on to the finals, where I think they'll take on Villanova. And I think Duke cuts down the Nets this year. It's storybook and it's ending. I think Duke defeats Villanova for the national championship. Who you got for the national championship?
Woo. So I have North Carolina facing Kansas.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Carolina wins it all.
Oh,
It's
you're
gonna be.
going
It's
North
gonna be.
Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina will defeat Kansas. I don't have a
Hmm.
score, but I think that's gonna be the championship game,
That's
and
what's up.
Carolina will win it all.
That's what's up. So you got Hubert Davis winning
I got
in
him
his
win
first
his
year.
first title in his first year. Yep.
That would be a story. That would be a story if he was
Yeah, I know,
able to
right?
pull it out. And we
Yeah.
don't want to, and we don't want to forget. Me personally, I I think that when it comes down to it, the men's game is more athletic. The women are more fundamental. The women are going to make the right passes. I mean, you see a few players every now and then that'll make the highlight play, and they'll show the flashes of athleticism. But I think if you want to watch pure basketball and
Hmm.
ball movement and slide and just the fundamentals of basketball, we want to give the ladies a shout out. Check out the women's Final Four. Got Louisville versus South Carolina in one semi, and we got two old rivals or two perennial, I guess, powers. That's UConn and Stanford. So don't forget to check
Right.
those ladies out. I got South Carolina win the whole thing. I saw them play a couple times this year. Haven't really watched the entire lot of women's college basketball. We want to give credit where it's due. I think South Carolina will take home the national championship in that particular contest. And me and Juice was talking earlier, man. Before you know it, the draft will be here and the NFL will be
Yep.
coming back around. We got the NFL. The NBA playoffs is coming around. Giannis and Joel Embiid gave us a show a couple nights ago. Giannis blocked Embiid shot at the end. So we got the NBA playoffs coming around. It's about to get crazy, and Just Noise is here for all of it. This is, I believe,
Yes,
this. If
sir.
you
Yes,
you want
sir.
good content, this is the best This is the best podcast for you, man. We on every Friday night.
Hmm.
Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. But we're gonna get on up out of here. Juice, it's been a pleasure, my man. We'll be back.
Enjoyed it, man. As
We'll,
always.
we'll be back for sure. Thank you for all the love and support. Smash that subscribe button, that like button, that share button. Just know us. Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. That's every Friday night at 8 p.m.